I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, April the 18th, brought to you in part by the VITALIX Corporation. In business since 1967, VITALIX provides excellence in animal health, including but not limited to all-American ID tags for all classes of livestock. For more information, go to y-tex.com. Peaceful week so far. And I talked earlier this week about how late last week on Friday the board tanked and it wasn't a continuation of the bird flu talk so much as it was about the unrest in the Middle East there and about the bombing that was going on from Iran to Israel. And we thought that was going to spur into something a lot more, and we've just been kind of sitting back waiting for that all week. But it's been a pretty peaceful week. We haven't seen Israel retaliate. About the only thing we've seen is we've seen a lot of anti-Israel hatred and protesting and things like that. But haven't seen any more war. Well, really, we wondered what that had to do with the cattle market anyway, but they were sure concerned about it with the board on Friday last week. You know, I mean, anything fundamentally has nothing to do with that at all. I mean, you've got Israel, they'd be wanting, of course, that's Jewish, and they'd want kosher beef, and then the Muslims would want the halal meat. Neither of which is a big percentage of what we're selling out there, and so it has nothing to do. It's just something else to blame it on. And but it's been nice that we haven't had any more war going on. The board's been pretty friendly here this week. It wasn't that positive on Wednesday, but Monday and Tuesday it was, and Wednesday didn't take much of that away. So we're kind of feeling pretty lucky here. We've gone a few days without a black swan to come in here and mess us up, but we're seeing on Wednesday, or we saw on Wednesday, that your feeder buyers came back into the market in a big way, a lot bigger than they did on Monday and Tuesday. We saw your northern grazers getting pretty aggressive, buying those bigger stockers, those 6 and 7 weight stockers up there, the northern quality cattle to turn out on their grass that they did not turn out on April 15th like they did in the Flint Hills and the Osage. Theirs is coming a little bit later, and so they're getting excited about that. We saw some big time high quotes that I'm going to give you guys several of here in just a little bit. You know, the thankful thing is we haven't seen the board crash, but likely it will happen here on Thursday as we're trying to get some kind of a grip on what our cash fed cattle market's going to be. So normally right on cue on a Thursday, your board will crash so that your packers can get cattle bought cheaper. Because it's been looking all week like they were going to have to pay steady at the minimum and likely higher prices for fat cattle, but they like buying them cheaper every week, and we'll see how that goes. Of course, it's easy for the packers to get the board to break. They just tip off or tell their fund management company of their choice there that has a big stranglehold on the cattle futures to sell it off, and they do. And then everybody gets to scrambling, and we're so sick of this board. Very frustrating. And CME does not seem to want to do anything for the longs at all. You know, I've spoke on here many times saying that they need to make it possible for the longs to be able to demand delivery when we're like this, when we have a big basis. And all CME says, of course, it was brought up at the CFTC meeting there earlier in the week, and they said, you know, what are we going to do here? We're not doing anything for the longs. You know, why don't we make it where the longs can demand delivery like the shorts can tender for delivery? And CME just wants to say, well, it always seems to converge. yeah, it always converges there in the last day or two, but it's always the cash that goes down to meet it. It's not the board ever coming up. Of course, they're not concerned with that. We have to, fight and scratch and claw for every little bit of market position we get in the cash market. And that stupid board is just yo-yoing up and down like crazy, and they don't want the CME that puts that board out. That they're the ones that offer it. They don't want to do anything to balance it out, where the longs can have as fair play as the shorts do. Everything's for the shorts because that they want industry to come in, and of course it's not fair and it's not balanced. And then you just have funds and speculators on the long side, and then anytime they want to, they can just dump that stuff and make money going down. But very, very frustrating that is the best way we have to hedge the cattle market. Of course, now we got the LRPs, but they're still starting out based off of those out front futures prices, and so, whenever you do have a lot of people take LRPs out, likely there's going to be some hedging there from your insurance company. So, either the people are doing it or the insurance companies are doing it, but it gets pretty frustrating. But like I said, this week has been pretty good up until Thursday. We're normally right on cue. It goes down. Let's see what happens here today on Thursday. I want to make a mention about all the sale barns across the country that have held fundraisers for the victims of the wildfires in the Texas Panhandle. It's fantastic, and I guarantee you, if you put all the sale barn money that was raised and sent in, and I've named off a bunch of them, and I know there's been a bunch of them that had fundraisers that I haven't talked about. But it's fantastic, and I guarantee you that would be some of the biggest fundraising that's been done, has been done by our auction markets, our sale barns. Of course, they can't do that without the donations from the buyers and the people that are involved around the sales. It's just your good country people, your cattle people, the salt of the earth guys. The latest one that I've heard of is Net Bio and Sulphur Springs Livestock Auction, Jodan Pogue, and then they have those commingled sales that are so good there. And they had a fundraiser. They raised $44,500 for the wildfire victims there. It's fantastic. And don't forget, I mentioned on our last visit that Lone Star Stockyards is going to be having a fundraiser. It's going to be in the evening on May the 10th. They've got a band coming in there. They're going to charge by the couple. And then they've got some really, really nice donated items. Going to auction those off, and I'm planning on being there, and that'll be a good time, guys. Don't forget about the Punchy Pick of the Month contest. We've been getting punchy picks in all month here, up so far to this month. And if you've got some punchy picks, and they don't have to be current. If you got one that's got some age on it, that's okay too. But send in the punchy pick. Just snap the picture, email it to punchy@nationalbeefwire.com. The winner, of course, gets the grand prize, and that's some really cool stuff from Beaver Feed Company in Beaver, Oklahoma, Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma, and then the biggest part of the grand prize, which is Farapiece. You get a whole case of Farapiece, the revolutionary product that's scientifically proven. And guys, you've got to try that stuff. It's too affordable not to try. But the Punchy Pick of the Month contest is one of our favorite things that we do here on the Feeder Flash. Let's talk about your board. On Wednesday, April live cattle futures were down 60 cents at 180.90. January was down 40 cents at 175.32. Yes, it was down, but it wasn't down near as much as what we've gained here earlier in the week on Monday and Tuesday, so not going to complain too much. Your back months were mixed, from down 15 cents to up as much as 45 cents. April feeder cattle were up 7 cents at 240.42. May was down 70 at 240.27. Your back months were down, but not much, from 2 cents to 30 cents lower. That's not terrible, guys. May corn down 3/4 cent a bushel at 4.30 1/4. May beans up 4.5 cents a bushel at 11.49 1/2. Kansas City hard red winter wheat for May was down 14 3/4 at 5.72 3/4. Fat cattle trade direct out of your 5-area feeding region. Direct negotiated trade, I mean nothing. All the 4 out of 5 areas that we get information from, we've only got about a gooseneck load of fat cattle. 12 head traded at 185 in Iowa, guys. That's nothing. Doesn't even start to hint at anything that would establish the market, but still wasn't the worst thing in the world. But they did have a fat cattle auction at Sioux Falls Regional Livestock in Worthing, South Dakota. It's a DVAuction broadcaster. Their choice steers were $2 lower, but we were 2 to 3 lower on a direct basis late last week, so still kind of in there tight. Conventional cattle, fat steers and heifers bring from 182 to 186 1/4, with some program cattle up to 187. So they're still a little bit higher on the top end than what your negotiated trade is. And like I said, they're just waiting until the end of the week, hoping for the board to break, or waiting to make the board break so that they can try to buy fat cattle even cheaper than they did last week. Box beef cutout values were lower, and I'm almost wondering about this. The only box beef cutout value report we get is what the packers want us to know. And it's amazing to me they can't get a rally underneath this beef as the temperatures are warming up. People are dusting off their grills and going after some beef to put on those grills. But like I said, choice cuts were down 124 as reported by USDA at 296.78. Selects were down 176 at 290.88. Your slaughter is running at a pretty good clip this week. Now, why would they turn the slaughter up a little bit if they're not making any money on that? Yeah, right. 369,000 through the first 3 days of the week. Harvested estimation there. That's 11,000 more than last week. 8,000 less than the same week a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. Legend Bank. If you're looking for fast and efficient cattle financing, most lending institutions turn the other way whenever you tell them you're looking for financing for a cattle project. Not Legend Bank, and not Greg Brooks or Ricky Taylor that are the main cattle financiers there. It's in North Texas, guys, but they can help you in all of Texas and all of Oklahoma. But Legend Bank is a member of FDIC. All loans are subject to credit approval, and they are an equal housing lender. Check them out at legend.bank. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DVAuction based on an 800-pound cash auction steer up through your middle 12 states, setting at 240.268, up 95 cents on Wednesday's sales there. And there were some pretty good sales there, as high as we've seen all through this high time here early this year. Your last release CME cash feeder cattle index was exactly the same, 240.268. So if you don't think that's a pretty good precursor there, you need to check things out. But I want to tell you about some sales that are coming up next Monday, or this Monday, I guess, right after this weekend. If you guys are looking for green yearlings and you're saying, where am I going to get green yearlings this time of year? You got to go down into the southeast. Backgrounded on winter forage there, mostly ryegrass. Elite Livestock Sales. That's my buddies down there. It used to be at Montgomery Stockyards, but Elite Livestock's now having their video sales there, pretty regular. Daryl Stokes, they're going to have a big sale, a big one, on Monday, starting at 3 o'clock Central. Monday the 22nd, they're going to have 132 loads of yearlings. Wow, 132 loads of green grass yearlings coming off the winter grazing there, ready to go to feed. So, and they're going to be fed in the warm temperatures, guys. If you're worried about those cattle carrying just a tick a ear, which is all most of them are going to have it all, but if you're worried about them not having as much hair, they're not going to need that hair the rest of this spring and all summer in the hot temperatures. In fact, they're going to feed better than those native cattle. But check them out, Elite Livestock Sales. They're going to be on DVAuction.com. That's Monday the 22nd, 3 o'clock Central. And then a big dispersal sale at Kingsville Livestock Auction, the third and final special of the Circle A dispersal, guys. That's Circle A has been known for top quality Angus genetics in mid-Missouri for 30 years about. And they are selling out, getting out. This last sale is probably the best offering because it does offer replacement bulls, 108 of them, 108 replacement bulls, breeding bulls there. That's at 5 o'clock on Friday here, tomorrow night, Friday night, 5 o'clock. Get on DVAuction.com, get a hold of Kingsville, tell them you want to be approved, and you can bid on those 108 bulls. You can bid on 627 spring pairs. 100 of those will be 3-year-olds, 400 of them be 4 to 6-year-olds, 127 of them be 7 to short and solid mouth, 324 head of fall bred heifers, 225 head of fall pairs, 150 of those will be 3 to 6-year-olds, and the other 75 will be short and solid mouth, guys. Don't wish you would have got in there. As much as your weigh up cows and bulls are bringing, this is a good time to upgrade big time, guys, for not much difference in price. Let's talk about your big sales on Wednesday. OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma at 6,900 for the 2-day sale, including the calves on Tuesday. But on Wednesday, your feeder steers were steady. Feeder heifers were $5 to $10 higher. On Tuesday, your stockers and long-time weaned and lighter weight yearling stockers were steady to weak. Your new crop calves were $2 to $4 lower. OKC West and El Reno was your National Beef Wire stick-out sale of the day. You look at this automated market report through Cattle Market Central and you see 412 head of 7-weight steers. Notice there's no calves. They sold those on Tuesday. This is just the Wednesday sale, just the feeder day sale. 412 head of 7-weight steers, average 761. Weighted average price $238.96. 1,039 head of 8-weight steers averaged $856 at $226.12. There were 1,256 head of 9-weight feeder steers in El Reno, Oklahoma that had a weighted average weight of 944 pounds, weighted average price of $213.93. Look at some heifers, and like the trend said, your heifers were where it was at, guys. They sell some 8-weight heifers for $233 a load of heifers, guys, but 688 head of 7-weight heifers averaged $757 at $225.39, and 622 head of 8-weight heifers averaged $838 at $212.33. I'm going to give you several individual quotes that were very impressive to me. Stockman's Livestock Market in Yankton, South Dakota had a turnout special there. 84 steers weighed 712 at $3 a pound. You didn't think they'd still do that. How about Albion, Nebraska? Albion Livestock, they sell 116 big steers weighed 980, bring $227.75. Wow. How about Decorah, Iowa? Decorah Sales Commission sells 67 steers weigh 807 at $259. Let's go up in the northern plains. How about Pay's Public Auction Yards in Billings, Montana? They sell 103 steers weigh 616 at $3.30 a pound. But that's not even your top quote. The most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Wednesday, and it's got to be for where it's at, what it is, and everything. You got to try to balance them out. It was at North Arkansas Livestock in downtown Green Forest, Arkansas, guys. It was 70 steers, good quality, weighed 827 at 251 in Green Forest, Arkansas. They're headed to Kansas. Put another $5 or $6 on those guys. And that's your feeder flash for Thursday.